Hey, it's time for a news dump, and Ricky's at a bachelor party, so we're bringing Phil in to fill in.
What up?
Yeah, so at this point, you've probably either seen Suicide Squad or decided that based on the less than positive reviews, it's not really worth your time right now, or your money, and that you'll either wait for the home video release or just go about the rest of your life Suicide Squad free. Regardless, you're most likely aware that despite what the movie's advertising campaign showed, there really isn't much of Jared Leto's Joker actually in the movie. It actually adds up to something like 7 minutes of screen time in a movie that's already juggling, in my opinion at least, way too many goddamn characters.
Yeah, ever since the movie came out, and even a little bit before, there's been various accounts of the movie's seemingly troubled post-production process, with the general consensus that being a lot of the footage ended up on the cutting room floor, and Jared Leto even said in a recent interview with IGN, there were so many scenes that got cut from the movie, I couldn't even start. There was so much that we shot that's not in the film. He took things further with an interview with the BBC Radio 1, saying, I think there's probably enough footage in this film for a Joker movie. If I were to die tomorrow, maybe the studio would roll something out. I feel like he's like hinting.
I'm going to kill myself.
It's a cry for help. Trigger. It's a trigger, man.
He's so method. Who can tell who the real Jared Leto is? An important side note to this is that Jared Leto hasn't actually seen Suicide Squad and probably never will. He refuses to watch anything he acts in for some reason. So he's basing what he's saying off of what people have told him about the movie. But he's probably telling the truth here, if only because why the fuck would he have gone to such absurd lengths in method acting during the movie's production if it was just for the brief moments that he appears in the film? It just doesn't make sense unless he thought that there was going to be a lot more Joker on screen.
I do take issue with him never seeing his movies, because everyone could just lie to him and be like, dude, that movie where you had,
it was great.
You were sick.
Your dick looked huge.
It was terrible. Anyway, Jared from Subway has also gone on to record that same BBC Radio 1 interview, saying he disagreed with the movie's PG-13 rating, saying, quote, I always wish this film was rated R, and I had actually said that when we were starting. It felt like if a film was ever going to be rated R, it should be ones about the villains, end quote. It's pretty clear that Jared Leto, an Oscar-winning actor known for some really solid movie roles, is disappointed that his big superhero movie debut is being shit on by critics. And that's compounded by the fact that he feels like the movie that was released isn't the same movie he signed on for. A little bait and switch, a little dumb it down for the kids action.
Yeah, and now, according to a Jared Leto fan on Tumblr, who recently attended...
You can say there's
the Tumblr.
one. There's like, it's all porn and kids threatening to kill themselves, and there's like the Jared Leto fan.
I have a feeling Leto has a big following on Tumblr.
I would think so.
Anyway, he's got a fan on there who recently attended Camp Mars.
Which is it's a space camp competitor, right?
Kind of. It's like some sort of weird adult summer camp experience up in the hills of Malibu that's run by Jared Leto's band 30 Seconds to Mars. The fan went there, and Leto apparently spoke to fans in attendance even more candidly at a Q&A. Here's what that Tumblr post said. He was very honest about the film this weekend. His disappointment in what he's learned of the theatrical cut, he has still not seen the film, feeling sort of tricked into being a part of something that had been pitched to him very differently, thinking it would have been more artistic than what it became, feeling overwhelmed by the hate regarding the look and choices.
Watch your movies, dude. Anyway, and at the same Q&A, Leto was asked if his contract with Warner Brothers for the Joker has any stipulations against dangerous activities like rock climbing, which Leto loves if you follow his Instagram, and he replied, yes. My answer is, fuck him.
Whoa,
you're punk rock. And sure enough, this week, dude's been posting photos of himself mountain climbing in Yosemite, although it's unclear if they're just older pics that he's now sharing. The same Tumblr user who shared Leto's comments about feeling tricked has since updated the post, saying that the general vibe of Leto's comments was a lot more casual and playful than how people have been interpreting them as they read them. But there's no denying that Leto's been a lot more critical of Suicide Squad these past few weeks than actors usually are right after a movie's released, and they're doing like the aw shucks press dance around town.
And, you know, we've kept our opinions out of this for the most part so far. But if you really want to know how we feel about Suicide Squad, you should go check out the brand new episode of Spacebar on the new Primer channel, where Ricky, Phil, Nick Gregorio, and myself tackle the question of whether or not the DC Extended Universe is totally fucked at this point. Things get very heated because it's honestly not fun being so disappointed by a movie that we were really hoping would be great. And I guess that's kind of a spoiler, but yeah, we hated the goddamn movie. Check it out.
There's a lot of talk there, and again, for all the bitching that I do on this show and you guys, it's fun to be riled up about something like, it's so bad it's good, but at the same time, when something you kind of want to be good, you actually get angry, and we interneted all over it. But in other totally unrelated DC news, this week they dropped a totally unexpected trailer for their next animated release, Batman: Return of the Caped Crusaders. It stars Adam West and Burt Ward as animated versions of the Batman and Robin they played 50 fucking years ago in the original Batman TV show. That old Batman universe was really campy and playful and ridiculous and full of terrible puns, and it honestly still kind of holds up pretty well in a kitschy way. So it will be cool to see what they do with the property after so long when Return of the Caped Crusaders comes out on digital HD, DVD, and VHS, maybe VHS tape.
Let's hope so.
On October 11th and Blu-ray on November 1st.
Holy Batman.
Oh, fucking nailed it, man.
I love that this is the first thing they're putting out right after the Killing Joke, where they're like, all right, that didn't work out so well, so let's just pull a fucking 1080 on this whole thing.
They're steering into a ditch and like, hold on, meow, oncoming traffic. No, I mean, I don't think it's necessarily gonna be bad, but it's a huge fucking departure from.
I think it's cool, and plus, those actors are old. Might as well get one last performance out of them.
Rock him out. Adam West, he's been doing, voice work for
he's
for
on
a long
Family
time.
Guy, and Anyway, speaking of the sillier side of superheroes, the pilot for Amazon's new series, The Tick, is available to watch right now as part of Amazon's Prime vote-based pilot season. And there's also 2 new clips from the show that were posted on Entertainment Weekly's website. I thought it was funny. So far, the reviews have been pretty positive, with this new version of The Tick being a darker but still very funny version compared to the 1994 cartoon from our childhoods and the very short-lived 2001 live-action series. Adding to this new Tick street cred is the fact that the pilot is directed by Wally Feister, who was the director of photography for all 3 Chris Nolan Batman films. So that's cool. Anyway, if you're a Prime member, go ahead and check it out, because Amazon does not move forward with their shows until they've seen how well the pilots are received. So if people don't watch it, they won't make more.
You can literally vote with your eyeballs and your hands.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool when they do that. So, in other TV news, this week marked the abrupt end of Larry Wilmore's The Nightly Show on Comedy Central, a show that never really managed to escape the shadow of the show it replaced, The Colbert Report. How could it? But the show still was pretty decent comedically and had some great commentary on news and current events from the guy who's worked behind the scenes in comedy for decades. I actually was rewatching a lot of old The Office, the U.S. Office episodes.
Oh yeah.
And he was in the first season. He was a consulting producer there, and that his humor really showed through. So it's really unfortunate that things didn't work out for him. But Larry is actually a pretty busy guy off camera, and he's probably already working on whatever he's doing next. So best of luck, Big Al.
Yeah, this week it was also announced that after 5 seasons, Comedy Bang Bang on IFC would be ending in October after 10 final episodes featuring the return of some of the show's best guests. Comedy Bang Bang is a really weird satirical twist on the talk show format. It's kind of like Pee Wee Herman meets Eric Andre. And while it's definitely not for everyone, it has been something of a comedy nerd's dream come true for its run. Scott Aukerman is an incredibly busy guy himself, though, so it's no surprise that he feels like he's maybe just done enough at this point. And hey, the original Comedy Bang Bang podcast still going strong as ever, probably never going to end. So
what are your thoughts on the podcast versus the show?
I like them both. I think the show did a good job of sort of bottling up the vibe of the. I think that the show did a good job of bottling up the vibe of the podcast into a nice 22-minute sort of format.
Yeah, the podcast, I was listening to it, and when I started, I was like, oh my God, this is so great. It's one of those things that's like, it's so funny that you cry, like you have tears streaming down your face, and you're like, wait a minute, I'm laughing at improv. And it's just, I felt tricked. I felt like someone put like a dog pill in hamburger meat and I ate it, and I was like, wait, you mean I like improv? But it's really great. So the show's an acquired taste, but check out the podcast. There's some great there. But speaking of TV, let's jump over to trailers, starting with the first full trailer for Donald Glover's upcoming FX show Atlanta, which stars Glover as a young man coming up in the business world who decides to move to Atlanta to become the manager for his cousin, whose rap career suddenly gets a huge boost, leading to opportunities for both of them as long as they do things just right. Donald Glover grew up in Atlanta and has a pretty successful rap career of his own, so this should be a pretty accurate look at subject matter we haven't seen depicted much in movies or TV. Atlanta premieres September 6th on FX.
I'm into it.
I'm into it too.
I'm sold.
There's it's a little broad, but the Louising of everybody, the way kind of it happened with Marin, and the way you see it with some of these other shows, it's just like it's a vibe where it's not a sitcom, but people are just putting their own twist on a story. It's
like sad laughter.
Yeah,
I like a good sad laugh.
Is that why you came on Spacebar?
Yeah.
Sad trombone right there.
In other trailers, there's a new domestic and also a slightly better international trailer for Arrival, the new movie from Denis Villeneuve, who made Sicario, and he's also helming the upcoming Blade Runner sequel. Arrival is a sort of first contact with aliens movie, so its premise shares a lot in common with movies that we've already seen. A bunch of alien ships suddenly appear in various parts of the world, and the Earthlings need to hurry up and figure out what the fuck is going on and what the aliens want and what they're going to do about it. In this case, though, the story centers around Amy Adams' character, who's an expert linguist hired and tasked with figuring out a way to communicate with these fucking aliens.
Is that why she could talk to Superman in the
Yeah,
last one?
it is. It's a callback. She's
same
playing Lois Good.
Long story.
But yeah, so she gets put in charge of figuring out how to talk to these aliens, but this is all while public sentiment around the world increasingly is leaning towards, hey, let's just nuke these fuckers before they go all Independence Day on us just to be safe. So it's kind of a race against time. It looks pretty cool. So this comes out on November 11th, right in the heart of Oscar bait season. So does that mean it's gonna be good? Like really good?
Is there a commentary? Are they like aliens, or are they like people who are different from us? And should we learn from these anti-xenophobic
I'm sure
ways?
there is.
And can you talk to your racist uncle about this at Thanksgiving? Wait till he's had a few drinks.
They should build a wall around that spaceship.
Oh, I
and
like
make
it.
the aliens pay for it.
You are on this shit, man.
Yeah.
What's your MySpace handle? So, but thanks for sitting through me, filling in for Ricky. And before I go, remember that the Primer channel that we talked about before. That channel is where you can watch us bitch about Suicide Squad and the future of DC's movie state. Is it good, or are they totally fucked? And there's another great video over there that you should definitely check out, a sketch called Good Plumbers. It's a short film, so if you're a diehard fan of both Scorsese and or the Super Mario Brothers, it might just end up being your favorite piece of all time. So,
It's a very loving homage to both properties. Like there's some deep cuts in there where I was like, wow, damn Nick, you really watched the shit out of Goodfellas.
Yeah, Nick Gregorio, my partner in crime over at Primer, he directed the short, and it's something that could go to cringe territory very easy, but the first time I saw it, I was like, you're fucking good at this stuff.
Yeah.
So we have that, and we have This Week in Geek. We're going to premiere on Monday. So anyway, go over to Primer. Can we put a link here? Do you guys have that capability?
We'll put a link somewhere.
We're gonna put a link somewhere.
Description.
Maybe up my butt, and I'll take it out and use it like a shitty baseball bat. Who knows?
Yeah, down in the description we'll have the links. And while you're here on the internet, or on your phone or whatever, check out our other videos. We got a new episode of Tugs where the No Man's Sky saga of deception continues. There's a new episode of Weekly Weird News where a YouTuber is now basically the unofficial mascot of North Korean tourism. And everyone's totally fine with it for some reason. We're the only ones complaining. I don't get it.
It's so bad. You guys were showing me that stuff yesterday. You have to watch it. It's fucking ridiculous.
And then on our podcast last Sunday, we had Mike Diva, who's made some of the best internet videos ever. He was on talking about memes and shit. Check it out.
He's a pro interneter.
Pro internet. I'm just AAA at best.
AAA. I'm
D-League.
I'm T-ball internet. Shit baseball bat.
Bye.